Hello, hello. Anybody out there? Is anybody out there? You guys got to check this out. Look at that. Litecoin is the right coin as a means of exchange. Patch, would you look at the motorcycle with the guy riding with the Litecoin behind him? I'm getting a jacket to put this on the back. This was sent to me from Dave, one of the guys, a subscriber I met in St. Louis at the Bitcoin Ben meetup. Look at that. This thing is awesome. Thank you, Dave, so much. You didn't give me your email address, but I'm going to track you down. Come up to me if you're coming to Vegas. Absolutely. Come check out Vegas. All right. So my expert monitor is out of town right now. I don't know if she's going to jump in, Amy. But I have a lot of friends out there. Perosi, what's up? Awesome. Austria. Nice. Isabella, thanks for joining. Thank all you guys for coming up. Wendell, what up? What up? So much to talk about on the road to Ruta these days. It's crazy. It's insane, but we knew it. We knew it would happen. We knew it was coming. It's going to get worse. I hate to tell you, it's going to get a lot worse. But keep your wits about you. Stay on the road to Ruta. I'll try to keep everybody up and informed as best I can. I'm working off both a iPad and a video recording thing. So let's get to this. Somebody had asked me. This is going to be mainly a Q&A. But the Fed, I'll get to that one second. Hillary is now like in third place to run against Trump. And I'm like, okay, she put the feelers out like a month ago. All this stuff is planned. You got to recognize that all this stuff is planned. Now, why would Hillary want to throw her hat in the ring unless it's the obvious? And the obvious is what the Democrats have been doing since Trump got in. Perhaps, let's just say, maybe that Hillary was about to be arrested. If Hillary was about to be arrested, what's the best thing she could do? I'm the front runner in running for president, so you can't arrest me. That's just attacking a political rival. Litecoin Lisa, what up, girl? Does that sound familiar? Was Biden about to be arrested? Well, they knew they were going after the investigation in Ukraine. It is all completely the same. They did the exact same thing with Russiagate. They were the ones colluding with the Russians. The CIA, Strzok and Comey and Brennan had this huge plot that they accused Trump of. They just do the opposite because they'll say, he's crazy. He's just going after another political rival. Hillary is on the ropes, so what does she do? She puts her hat in for president so that Trump can't go after her. I say, bullshit, Trump, pull the cord. It's time to arrest that young lady. And the reason I say young lady is that she looks about 30 years younger than she did about 2-3 years ago. How is that possible? Well, they got all kinds of things that you can do as far as body doubles. I don't even know if she's around. Clones, you name it. Drinking children's blood, the whole thing about that, which is sick and wrong, but I'm not going to go down that path. But yeah, that's why I think they did it. They knew she was about to get arrested. What do? You run for president so that you can say, Trump's just going after me because I'm running for president. So there you have it. Okay, I got that out of my way. I'm sure the chat board's going crazy with Hillary Killary. If you're a fan of the Clintons, I would advise you to look up the Clinton body count. The Clinton body count is how many people have died of mysterious reasons that are directly associated with the Clintons. It's over 150 people. Now go back in your life and figure out how many people do I know who have died under suspicious circumstances. Most people are 0. Some people are 1 or 2 maybe. Try 150 with the Clintons. 150, all documented. Look up Clinton body count and you're going to get just an amazing list of people who keep dropping by the wayside. Very evil, the deepest and darkest of the deep state. So hang in there, people. The battles continue. But let's talk about banking. And then I want to get into questions. And the questions will cover everything. If you saw my post, not the Morning Horn of Disease, but the other one, I was talking about we can't have any more secrets in this world. It is insane what they're doing. We cannot have any more secrets. We need to open the kimono on everything. Do not trust government at all. At all. At all. All right, I want to talk about the banks and the bailouts. Right now, I think it was $215 billion tonight is being lent short term to the banks because they didn't have it. And don't take it as something that is little, because it is little on one aspect, and that aspect is they could create hundreds of trillions and they have hundreds of trillions of dollars and not told anybody. There is no requirement to tell anybody anything when it comes to creating money if you're the U.S. government. Catherine Austin Fitts found 30 trillion that they even reported. Imagine how much they have not reported. It's in the quadrillions. It's infinity money. Rue wrote it in the sand in 1981 in the first Rue Des comic that came out of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. Look what Rue wrote in the sand. It's an economic formula called On the Road to the Golden Age. It says the best way to get back to a gold standard is to print as much money as possible, soaking up all the benefits. You build your roads, your bridges, your military, houses, and then you destroy the system. That is exactly what's been going on. It is so easy to see when you stand back a little bit and said, oh my God. Remember that 1981 gold commission? Reagan, prices gold was going to $850, inflation going to 20%. Reagan puts together the gold commission, and that gold commission was to decide whether or not to go back onto a gold standard. And the answer, the solution was no. We don't have to do it yet, but unless we get our budgets under control and the debt under control, we're going to have to go back to a gold standard. What happens? They blow the budgets out of the world. They did the exact opposite because they knew it is the end game. End game is to destroy the monetary system through massive, massive secret hyperinflation. At the same time, control all commodities and exchanges with derivatives so that you don't need gold to sell gold. You don't need silver to sell silver. You don't need cryptos to sell cryptos. It's all derivatives these days. So that's what's going on. And just more proof on the infinity money theory. This infinity money didn't start just recently. This isn't what obviously what the banks are doing now, the Fed is doing now on overnight repos, just tiny, tiny Band-Aids on a gushing wound. Tiny Band-Aids on a gushing wound. And I think November, we're going to see that 20 trillion number that I think they're going to need a permanent bailout just for the next 8 to 10 years. And I think that comes to Congress in November. Remember, these are overnight bailouts that are happening right now. Just overnight, they needed $215 billion. And tomorrow night, they'll need probably a little more than $215 billion. And then the next night, a little more. And then the next night, a little more. And then it goes exponential to 20 trillion. And 20 trillion, they go to Congress and say, we need a permanent bailout. And then it's up to us to say yes or no. So hang on tight, my friends. But some of the other things that were obvious about massive money printing behind the scenes, this goes back to the original Road to Rooted stuff. The gold in the Grand Canyon that was found in the early 1900s. Woodrow Wilson locked up the Grand Canyon the same year that he announced signed the Federal Reserve Act. Woodrow Wilson hated banks, but he knew the problem. Billions of ounces of gold in the Grand Canyon would have destroyed the monetary system, the social system, and the governments at the time. Because there was only 30 million ounces of gold in circulation, and gold was money. And here they find billions and billions of ounces. So that's kind of how it started. Then they said, okay, we're going to create the Federal Reserve, but behind the scenes, we're going to create as many of these fake things as possible. Check out the 1934 gold-backed Federal Reserve bonds. They are all over the place, all over the world, trillions of dollars in bonds, backed by real gold, basically in the Grand Canyon. Really interesting stuff. So yes, that's kind of what's going on. And then there's no accountability. The whole thing about fiat money is faith and confidence. You've heard it a million times. Faith and confidence. What's the gold? What's the dollar backed by? Some people say, oh, it's by taxes. You have to pay your taxes. That's not a backing. It's faith and confidence. So as the Fed continues to ratchet up the bailouts, yes, they can bail them out to infinity. Absolutely. And they have. But it's the faith and confidence that is dying. And when faith and confidence is dead, cryptocurrencies jump in, gold and silver jump in and say, hey, you don't have to have faith that a real ounce of gold is a real ounce of gold. You don't know how many there are, but you know it's a real ounce of gold. With silver, as long as you test it. With silver, the same. You don't know how many there are, but at least you have that real ounce of gold. With cryptos, you know how many there are, exactly, the good ones. You don't have to worry if you have it in your own possession because you're on the blockchain. So when faith and confidence dies, the whole world will be screaming for something that does not need faith and confidence in government, in people, in budgets that are all lied. Everything is a lie. Faith and confidence is the thing that is dying. The banks will die, the stock market will die, the bond market will die, all retirement funds will die. But when faith and confidence dies, it's over. That game is over, and then we start something fresh. And that something fresh can't be based on faith and confidence. It can be based on hard assets, gold and silver. Or more likely, it can be based on math, cryptocurrencies. As long as 2 plus 2 equals 4, there will be 21 million Bitcoin ever created. That's it. Litecoin, 84 million Litecoin ever created. The perfect form of money. Pretty close to it. Better than gold and silver. You don't know how many ounces of gold there is out there. And I guarantee you, there's massively more than what Jeffrey Christian tells you of the 200,000 tons. There's millions of tons of gold out there. I'm not saying gold won't go up in price. It's going to go up in price in relation to the fiat money. Silver will go up more. Look for 4 to 1 at least. But it's down to faith and confidence. Do you have faith and confidence if all of a sudden they start popping up these gigantic gold mines all over the country? No, you won't have faith and confidence. Do you have faith and confidence that 2 plus 2 equals 4? If the answer is yes, then you get the math, then the cryptos will be implemented in due time, in my opinion. So that's where we are. We're at the end game on the road to Ruta, and yeah, let's throw it out to questions. If you have any questions, just yell them out. Super chat. Thank you, Woke News. Theta to the moon. I say absolutely on that one. If you're looking for a crypto to buy now as other cryptos move up, for some reason, quote, some reason, Theta's not being allowed to move, absolutely you should have a good amount of Theta. I know it's hard to get for U.S. citizens, but you can figure it out. Figure out a way to get your hands on some Theta. If you can't, you can always join the Road to Ruta. I'm giving away 100 Theta tokens and 500 Theta fuel with every Road to Ruta private subscription. So, Woke News, thank you for the super chat. All right, let's go to questions. What do you guys want to talk about? It's going to be hard. There's a lot of questions, so I'll just pick one at a time, something that jumps up. I'll go woke again. All right, Bix, I have bought quite a bit of foreign currency. How will I be able to exchange it and where if the central banks, Fed, and banks implode? You won't. That will go to zero. So I don't know why you would buy foreign currencies. That's in the middle of their game. There won't be any exchanges open if the Fed goes down and central banks. There'll be no banks available. So no, don't. Foreign currencies, swap them now for gold, silver, or cryptos in your own possession. That's my take. All right. Alan Fuller, can you buy beans with crypto? Yes, you can right now. When the banks fail, probably not for a little bit. But you can't buy beans with Federal Reserve notes either when the banks fail. Unless, yeah, you probably could with your change for a couple of weeks. It's one of those things. You can't eat cryptos. Well, you can't eat gold and silver, and you can't eat U.S. dollars. You know, if you want to eat something, go get some food. All right, let's see. A lot of talk about foreign currencies. Foreign currencies are fiat. It's just like the U.S. dollar. Other countries in the world are doing the same as the U.S. You think that China's really telling the truth or Russia's telling the truth about how much they're printing? No, they aren't. Not even close. There's no need to anymore. Faith and confidence is gone amongst governments too. We're seeing that in the repo market because the banks don't even trust each other anymore. You could eat Federal Reserve notes, but they need a little salt. That's awesome. The daily rant. That's true. And you can eat gold and silver, but they need a little salt. You could actually eat cryptos if you put them on a paper wallet, but you're going to need a little salt. Not salt the crypto, which for those salt crypto people, I'm bleeding with you. They did what they said they're going to do. They're giving out loans. Why won't it go up? I don't know. We'll see when the next bull run for altcoins goes. But there's one company that did what they said they were going to do, but they're getting no love. And I hear there's big banksters backing them now, so it might be that at some point they're going to run it up. So keep an eye on that. Roy Lowry, thank you for the $2, my friend. Awesome. Thank you for the super chat. All right, Catherine Turley, coinage will be key. U.S. mint coins, not Federal Reserve notes. Well, kind of, yeah. I mean, people won't have a distinction right when the banks fail. 99.9% of the population couldn't tell the difference between a Federal Reserve note and a U.S. Treasury minted quarter. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to matter all that much. It depends what we go back to. If the U.S. government, because most of the money will be gone, the coinage will be still out there, and there's not really that many bills out there, Federal Reserve notes. Neither of them have any value, Federal Reserve note or the U.S. dollar. So, after a crash, and then it comes down to, okay, what are we going to use as money? And that'll be key. If we continue with Federal Reserve notes, obviously the Federal Reserve notes will be worth something. If we move away from Federal Reserve notes back to a true U.S. dollar, then maybe the coinage will be worth something. Probably not. And there will be some kind of a way to turn in your Federal Reserve notes for U.S. dollars within the United States. It's not around the world where the vast majority of $100 bills are held, are all around the world. The U.S. has even given Russia and China and a couple other places the actual printing dies so that they can print their own, because it just doesn't matter anymore. And the idea is to destroy the U.S. dollar. And what's the best way to do that? Print as many of those super notes, is what they call them, the fake $100 bills, as you can. So we'll see how that goes. Inclusive Model Designs, $2. Thank you. 14th is a holiday in Canada and the U.S. Beware. Yeah, I heard that. So the 14th date, people are saying, Bix, why are you throwing out another date? I didn't throw out a date. I said, this is what Dick Allgaier just remote viewed. And it's two people like this with their hands over their mouth saying, oh my God, something's going to happen. He believes it's something related to the financial system. And I pass that information on to everybody. It could happen today. It could happen tomorrow. It has happened already in my book. It happened on September 11th of this year when they started the need for the bailouts. So I don't know what people are waiting for or wanting. Right now, banks are crashing in Hong Kong. Banks are crashing in India. So the bank closure and problems have already started. And we'll be bouncing along for a while. In the U.S., I think before the end of the year, we're going to have bank closures. And what does that mean? FDIC doesn't have enough money to take care of that problem. Again, it gets to $20 trillion bailout that I don't think is going to happen. All right. Bernardo Training Gym, $5. Thank you. If we do bail out banks, how will that affect crypto prices? Set back another decade, I think we will bail out all the banks as people will panic. I think crypto prices, if you have a real crypto, will do very well. The problem is, if the banks crash, you're not going to know the price of your crypto. You're not going to know the price of your gold and silver, because obviously those are exchanges that are run on the old system. So if your bank crashes, Kraken is not going to be open. Coinbase is not going to be open. Gemini is not going to be open. The stock market won't be open. Nothing's going to be open if the banks crash. So it's kind of like one of those things. And if they bail out the banks, yeah, cryptos and silver and gold will be allowed by the good guys to go crazy to show the world that that was the wrong thing to do. But I can't see a bank bailout happening. There's no political will in the U.S. for that. Turning Japanese, the Marine call-up and the meltdown connection. Absolutely. The Marine call-up is supposedly, we're hearing that the Marines are being called up domestically, along with all kinds of other military people to ensure that there's not as much chaos as is expected, which is good. There will be martial law if the banks crash, obviously. And hopefully it will be temporary, and we will demand that it be temporary. And I think Trump and the people behind Trump would expect it to be temporary, but you got to get something in place, because millions of people would die without any kind of order. So we will see what happens there. All right. Holy moly, look at all these questions. Oh, over 900 watching. Sweet. Crypto Angel, what up, bud? Yeah, hit the thumbs up button, and if you guys can, subscribe to my channel. YouTube hasn't taken me off quarantine as far as subscribers, but I've had so many people watching, they had to give me at least 60,000 viewers, so I ended up with 60,000 viewers. Clint Westwood, what's up? Get ready for Vegas, baby. Vegas. You guys want to go to the Litecoin Road to Ruta event? It is in Las Vegas on the 27th. If you want to go, send me an email, bix@roadtorue.com. It costs one Litecoin to get in. It's from 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 9 or 10 at night. Lots of guest speakers and music, and Bitcoin Ben will teach us how to dance. He knows how to dance, believe it or not. Ben knows how to dance. That's really scary, too. He's a big boy. Bix, Don Stinson said, Bix, how certain are you that there will be a debt jubilee? I don't think there will be a debt jubilee. I don't think I've ever said there would be. As a matter of fact, I've said there won't be a debt jubilee. There will be a destruction of the system. There's no revaluation. It will be completely organic, where the derivative meltdown happens and all of a sudden your banks don't open and no banks open. And they have to rejigger the system somehow. I wouldn't call it a debt jubilee because all the assets are gone too. Electronic fiat, just the fiat assets. If you don't hold it, this is the huge time for that. If you don't hold it in your own hands, if you don't have full possession of your assets, you will lose them in a derivative meltdown. So that's how sure I am of that. But a lot of people with the RV, remember, there's going to be no deciders. It's not like the system's going to crash and Jerome Powell, everybody will turn to Jerome Powell to start the system up again. Or the IMF for the World Bank. No, they'll all be gone. Their only power lies in fiat money. That's it. And their power and authority will be completely out the window. They'd be lucky to live through the destruction of the old system because so many people will be hurt by what they have constructed over the years. So yes, I expect many, many, many banksters to go to jail, which is a good thing. Oh, a couple super chats. Thank you for those. Woke News. Can I buy a studio version of They? I don't have studio versions of anything, unfortunately. I do plan on it at some point going in there and do it. But I think it's on iTunes. You can get a download of They. I think it costs $1. I've never been paid out by iTunes, by the way. It just means I haven't hit the minimum threshold, I'm sure. I've made like 5 cents on iTunes. But yeah, you can get it on iTunes. Roy, thank you for the super chat. Where will silver be at by year's end? I don't know. It should have been at $1,000 an ounce in 1999. It depends where the state of manipulation is. If the banks crash, yeah, silver will be set free, but we probably won't know what the price is because the COMEX will be shut down. Remember, a lot of these exchanges are just criminal operations to set the price where they want it to be set. When the banks crash, that ends. COMEX will end. We won't know the price of silver. It'll be very important to have silver, gold, and cryptos. We won't know the prices of them for a while. I don't know how long until things get up and running again. People trust markets and exchanges again, truthfully, which is scary. All right, let's see. Welly Badam. I didn't say that right. Remember all those bankers committing suicide a while back? What was that about? I thought we'd see a collapse. Yeah. Well, there's suicide and there's fake suicide and there's suicided. And it started again. You're seeing more European bankers going suicided. The guy from the German bank that was laundering money with Deutsche Bank. I forgot the name of it. But yeah, the guy who ran that department disappeared one day. They haven't found. Oh, I think they did find his body. But suicided is different. It's a murder made to look like a suicide. And then there's the suicide where you go off to Jeffrey Epstein's island. Yeah. Ken Lay's island. All those guys who die in jail after they get caught, and then you never get to see their body, and all of a sudden they just claim to be dead. Oh, we already incinerated the body. What do you mean? It's been only 5 hours. Yeah. Here's his ashes, type of thing. And they're hiding somewhere on some island or underground, army bases, who knows? But yeah, that's the kind of thing that happens. Bank suicides don't happen when things are going well. bank suicides and murders happen when things are going badly, and we're starting to see that pick up. We could probably do a time graph of the amount of banker suicides and deaths as the economy goes, and it'll match. The suicides and deaths start right before the crash, and that's happening right now. All right, what else we got? Dan Harriet, is, quote, possession being 9/10 of the law going to save one's residence if there's still a mortgage? Seed and Company has the note. What happens to Seed? Well, here's the problem, and that's a great question, and it's part of the huge problem. Seed and Company, the banks, they didn't have the money when they lent you the money to buy your house. So they should have no claim on your house, no more claim than you do. You've put the time and effort in maintaining the house. I would say you have more of a say. But remember, those are all gone. Mortgage-backed securities are all gone. Seed and Company is gone. Their only power lies in fiat money. So you won't have a mortgage. The banks are going to say, oh, yeah, the system crashed, but at least we have all this debt we can collect on. No, all your money is gone to pay that debt. And by the way, Mr. Banker, there will be so much anger at bankers. You want to do a short on the value of banking properties, because I can see burning banks like you wouldn't believe. And it's in Cliff High's data that people go around burning banks when all this happens. Can you imagine? How angry are we that they got bailed out in 2008? What about now? Holy crap. Now that everybody knows about this banker stuff, there's been #1 best-selling books and hit movies about this stuff, and it's about to happen again. I was a banker for a long time. I mean, I wasn't one of the criminal guys that you recognize on TV, but those guys better run for the hills as fast as possible. That's why you're going to see a lot of the Ken Lay type of deaths instantly, and they just disappear and run away somewhere. Super chat. Alberto, thank you. Bix, should people remove their fiat from IRAs and 401ks? Yes, absolutely. Or, even better, do a self-directed IRA. That way you don't have to pay the fees and penalties, and you can keep cryptos and metals in your own possession. And if you want to do that, contact my friend Will Lair at perpetualassets.com, perpetualassets.com, and he'll help you do that. Basically, it's to get out of the system, get your everything in your own possession. You can even invest in the same assets as you do a normal IRA, except you're the one in charge of it. So you hold the metal and you hold the crypto. There's a lot out there that don't let you hold your own crypto. That is a waste of time. Or gold and silver. If you're in an IRA that doesn't let you hold your own assets, it is a waste of time because you will lose it in the crash. Absolutely. All right, where are we? Wait, boy, there's a lot of comments today. Aaron says, Bix, if white hats are destroying the system, why can't they also be instituting a new system already? What if a new system is already in place running parallel? Evidence supports this. Your thought? I hope so. I absolutely hope so. There are many problems with that scenario. The biggest problem being, who said the white hats get to decide? And just because they're white hats doesn't mean the population will agree to it. As a matter of fact, in the Road to Ruta documents, the teacher's guide, Road to Ruta, a teacher's guide, there's over 40 questions about what's going to happen at the end. This is coming from the Federal Reserve. What's going to happen in a transition? Will the people accept the solution? And that was the big question that was asked of Ruta. Because Ruta's answer, her solution to the destruction of the old system and the creation of a new system, was to reallocate money according to Social Security balances, because it gives most to the people who have bought into the system the longest and things like that. But even that system, within the Fed, that was their plan. There was all kinds of questions. Would it work? Would the people accept it? Because no one's going to trust anybody. No one's going to trust white hats. So we'll see what happens. I hope so. Cliff's data has 2 or 3 attempts to start up a new US dollar, and they all fail. And then it goes to a crypto / Bitcoin, Litecoin, altcoin solution. So that makes probably more sense because the confidence will be gone in our current rulers, even the white hats. No one's going to believe anybody anymore. So what do we do? It would be hard to institute something that, a one-stop shopping thing. The best thing our government could do and the white hats could do was invent something that you get to make your choice. Yeah, here's the new US dollar, but you can use Bitcoin or Litecoin or gold or silver or whatever you want as free human beings because we're not in charge. You're in charge of your own money. Will they say that? If they're white hats, I hope they do. But if they invented another system that we have to buy into, no, it ain't going to work, in my opinion. All right, where are we? Jose Diaz, what about the cryptocurrency Dash? Dash is okay. That's about it. Not a huge fan. A lot of marketing went into Dash, but no, I'm not a big fan. It won't be one of the main choices. There might be an application that's what I heard somebody was talking about that it works well for, which is great. I got nothing against it, but as a means of exchange, it won't be in the top 2 or 3, and that's what you want now. If you're looking at top 2 or 3 means of exchange, I would say number 1 is Litecoin, number 2 is Bitcoin Cash, number 3 might even be Digibyte. And Dash is down there 4, 5, or 6, I would guess. But that's my take. Remember, there's cryptocurrencies, there's tokens, there's platforms, there's all kinds of things, and it's all replacing the old system. So yes, there's plenty of room for all kinds of cryptocurrencies. Look how many fiat currencies there are. Hundreds. There's the yuan and the ruble and the peso and you name it. There's plenty of room. They could be nation-state cryptos, which I think they probably will be. But you cannot limit people to, especially if it's not open and honest and decentralized. You cannot, if you're a country in the future, you cannot limit what people can use as money or your country turns into a dictatorship. Same with the U.S. When this system falls apart, we cannot limit or stop what the people want to use. Give them the choice to use whatever they want, whatever's most convenient, whatever works for them, whatever they're comfortable with, whatever they think is safe. Daniel Connor, thank you for the super chat, $5. I should have kept all of the BTC and LTC I originally bought in 2017, got caught up in the ICOs and greedy. Probably more like me. Well, yeah, we all did. Looking back, it's easy to look back. But then again, how valuable is the lesson you learned from that ICO? Will you do the same thing? How much would you pay today to have all that information beforehand? We are coming up to another huge bull run. And now after learning all that you did learn, you kind of know where you think you should be. And that's great. So look at it as payment for education, the latest crash and all that. But as far as when all this is going to happen, when the cryptos will run and Bitcoin will run, I think it's going to coincide with the banking collapse. And either the bailout or non-bailout, and then we see where we go from there. I can't see them letting anything run before the final trigger is pulled on the derivatives, which could be any day. I think definitely by the end of the year, which is crazy because it's been 110 years since this has been running. So hang on to your hats, but we can't give this to our kids. That's the key. We cannot kick the can down the road so that my kids have to deal with this shit and your kids and their grandkids and their grandkids, because it just gets worse and worse and worse. And no, they are not bailing out the derivatives with the cryptocurrencies. The derivatives are exploding in volume and amount right now. And we just have the first 2 months of this, or first 2 quarters of this year. And there's no way you can fix that problem. So anybody saying it'll be fixed by the cryptos absorbing it with back, it won't. I'm sorry. Anyway, Dirty Bumbling-ish. Thanks for the $2. Does Cliff High still advocate Ethereum? Yes, he does. Absolutely. Ethereum, I think they're kind of holding back all the innovations until it is needed. There's a lot of people working behind the scenes to make a smoother transition. So yes, Ethereum will be a monster in the future, in my opinion. With all countries, by the way. Remember, Vitalik and Putin sat and met for a while. I mean, that tells you something right there. And the UN was at the Litecoin Summit saying, "Oh my God, you're so great, Charlie Lee and the Litecoin Foundation." We'll see. Oh, by the way, Ron Paul is speaking at the Litecoin Summit. I don't know if you guys heard, but yeah, I just heard that. I'm like, that's awesome. I love Ron Paul. Might be one of the last time. He's up in his 90s too, I believe. So definitely catch Ron Paul while he's still running around spreading freedom. Love that. Golden Age Dave, remote viewing thoughts. I am a practitioner of remote viewing. I've tried it. I got the Dick Allgaier short course also. I am blown away by it. Absolutely a huge fan. I've done quite a few projects with the remote viewing guys, the crypto viewing guys. If you haven't seen their website, go check out the YouTube crypto viewing. Probably the best remote viewers on planet Earth at the moment. They've done some work for me on Who is Satoshi, the gold in the Grand Canyon, the 1909 article in the Phoenix Gazette about the Egyptian artifacts in the Grand Canyon. We've remote viewed that stuff with amazing results. It's all on the private road at Road to Ruta. If you're interested, holy moly, it'll blow your mind. And it's all true, in my opinion. Remember, they just work off numbers. They don't work off like, hey, tell us about the Grand Canyon, and then they say something. It's just a number. It could be anything the number's attached to. It could be a pencil. It could be a camera. It could be the meaning of life. It could be God himself. And I think people have remote viewed God. But they nailed it. They nailed all three of the things I gave them, and I'm just blown away by that. All right. Clint Titus, I was wondering when President Trump may be sending UN troops home. I don't know. I don't know if they're working together with the U.S. military. I know the good guys are in charge of that game. So I'm not worried that, the UN's going to come in and take over. That's the dumbest conspiracy theory ever. Remember, there's over 300 million guns in the United States. The UN troops UN troops are not very well trained, by the way. But the UN is not going to come over and take charge. That's the stupidest thing ever. But I think the U.S. military is coordinated with a lot of militaries around the world because it is a big deal. Taking out the deep state and transitioning into something new. The deep state is knee deep. I mean, they're deeply embedded, but a lot of them don't want to be. They found themselves in that position. And you look at the people they're helping and guarding, people like the Clintons and the Obamas and the Bushes and the Brennans. I mean, these are the Podestas, Jeffrey Epstein's of the world. It's bad news. So, yeah, I don't think they want to be there. Public Awakening, thank you for the super chat. Hold on, let me see what we got here. You got to invite Ron Paul to the pre-party. I know. Hey, anybody out there who knows Ron or can get in touch with him, absolutely. He's come drink a beer with us at the pre-party. I'll work on. I get to Charlie and talk to Charlie and the Litecoin Summit people, and at least to extend the invitation. I'd love to hang out with Ron. He knows. He's an insider. He knows about the Road to Ruta. And don't forget, the Road to Ruta is featured in the latest Fed comic book as a character known as Glix, who runs around singing about the Federal Reserve. So, yeah, I am famous. USA Patriot HK45 just joined the Road to Ruta. Woo-hoo! Welcome down crazy road. I would say if you're just learning about the Road to Ruta stuff, go to the Road to Ruta website and go into the archives. Type in any subject you want. You're going to find 3,000 articles on anything from the Fed to printing money to gold, silver manipulation to cryptos to gold in the Grand Canyon to aliens to the secret silver stashes in Oak Ridge, Tennessee to conspiracy theories. There's nothing that stops the Road to Ruta. Pierre, thank you for the euros. All right. Our European friends. Hang in there, bud. Any updates on the SEC filing of Veritasium? No updates yet, I don't think. They have a Telegram group that's pretty good on updating people, but I think it's early November is when they go in front of a judge. I don't know. It could go either way. Obviously, the judge is corrupt. Obviously, the SEC is corrupt. I think it comes down to will Reggie kind of bend over just enough for the SEC to say, okay, we're going to find you this monster fine. We're going to say you're a bad guy. We're going to ban you from something. But Veritasium can move forward. That's, to me, that's the best situation. They also might say, no, we're stealing all your Veritasium and we're going to run with it without you and we're going to put you in jail. That's the criminal side. I mean, these guys are way beyond criminal. So I don't know what's going to happen. Cliff's data does have Veritasium running parallel with Bitcoin as far as price. So the only way that could happen is Veritasium somehow gets out of their current predicament with the SEC and is actually embraced after the crash, embraced as peer-to-peer transactions for capital assets. And the U.S. requires people to trade using Veritasium in these exchanges that are criminal. That would put the price of Veritasium right with Bitcoin. And that is a possibility. Truthfully, I wouldn't say it's a likelihood. And Veritasium will most likely go to zero. But it could also go 1-to-1 with Bitcoin. And it all depends on whether or not it's allowed. And I think if the good guys win, it will be allowed, which is huge. Because that'll be the biggest crypto of all. And if people are looking for that home run, that would be it. Veritasium going from whatever it is now, $12 to, Bitcoin would probably be about 100,000 at that point, so $12 to $100,000. Is that crazy? Absolutely. The scenario makes sense, though. It can happen. Our exchanges are broken, absolutely broken. And there will need fixes to be put in place. And Veritasium is one of those potential fixes. So we will see, right? That is not financial advice. Like I said, most likely it'll go to zero. Most likely the SEC with their lousy criminal lawyers will say, no, we're not going to allow this because it would destroy our financial system. Well, what if the financial system is already destroyed by the time the SEC rules? And the SEC goes, oh my God, our financial system's destroyed. What can we do? Voila, we have Veritasium. I don't know. Fuddy Duddy 99, where is Ruta located? Well, the comic books, to find out about Road to Ruta, just go to roadtoruta.com. Roadtoruta.com. The comic books are still on the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston's website in the educational section. There's 2 comic books. There's 3. Wishes and Rainbows is the name of the comic that introduces the world to Ruta. First came out in 1981 and then was redone on January 1st, 2007. Second comic is called The Road to Ruta, A Teacher's Guide. That was also 1981, but it wasn't a comic in 1981. It was just a teacher's handout. But in 2007, they made an actual pamphlet. Those are really rare. You had to be a teacher to get one. I have a couple of them. And then the third that was released on January 1st, 2007 is something called Banking Basics, which shows kids going into banks with dollar bills, cashing them in for gold. Really interesting stuff. All right, let's see. Braden Oaks, Bix, your thoughts on what Trump meant by this in his Ohio rally quote. And we've learned over the last 3 years the incredible gold that we're sitting on top of in this country, and we're very lucky. We haven't learned that in the past 3 years. We've always known it. Maybe he's talking about the. I did see that. That was a while back. I did when he said that. It might have been a little hat tip to the Grand Canyon gold, billions of ounces there, or Chocolate Mountain, billions of ounces there. There's so much gold. It's crazy. But we don't need gold as money anymore. That's the even crazier thing. I think it will be used in some format. Again, you can choose. There's not many gold bugs left in the world. And most of the gold, outside of the hidden gold, most of the gold is owned by the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the big money, and nobody wants them to succeed, right? We won't go on to a gold standard backing anything. There's no need for it because we have the defined scarcity of cryptocurrencies now, which is more important. All right. Michael VW11, hi Bix. Have you looked into microgreens? Where's Amy? Might be a nice crop to grow in your greenhouse. Yes, I agree. We've done sprouts. I love sprouts. You can grow those indoors. Those, and they're full of nutrients. Microgreens are on the same level. yes, now's the time to think about where you're going to get your food supplies, especially like vegetables. Yeah, you can have all the dried food you want. I got so much dried food, it's ridiculous. But you need vitamins and nutrients and fresh vegetables. Absolutely. So get yourself a little greenhouse, whatever space you have. Maybe even a grow lamp if you need it, and a solar generator. Solar generators are going to be key, I think. And I use this company called Goal Zero, GOALZERO. And they're lithium batteried solar generators, unbelievable. Go check those out. They're a little expensive, but it's better than a gasoline generator. Think about it. You have a gas generator when the banks go down. That's what, a day's worth of power. You get any more than that if the banks go down. Anyway, all right. Holy moly, so many questions. XRP is taking off. Of course, XRP is taking off because the bankers need solutions. When the bankers crash, XRP will go to zero. So if they bail out the banks, yeah, XRP will probably be great. But if they don't, XRP goes to zero because it's a banker solution. It might take, and it's completely centralized, by the way. All right, Deutsche Bank. Haven't heard much on Deutsche Bank lately. It's not going to be good. They got earnings. Earnings season for banks is coming up next week for most banks. That's going to be ugly. I want to see Citibank and I want to see JP Morgan. Now, yes, they can lie, cheat, and steal, and they have, but only to a point. Judging from the derivative shakeups in the third quarter, I would assume they're not going to do well. But you never know. Sometimes they hide earnings in a side pocket and pull it out, when they need to cover big holes. So we'll see what happens. I think JP Morgan's the 15th, along with Citibank's the 15th. I don't know when Deutsche Bank earnings call is. That's not going to be pretty either. And remember, all these banks are bankrupt. They're completely bankrupt. And the only thing keeping them alive right now is the overnight money, which is free money. But yeah. Daniel, classic question here. Where is it? Bix, are you related to Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead? Both from the Bay Area. I am related to Bob Weir, but not that Bob Weir. I had an uncle named Bob Weir who looked like Bob Weir, the from the Grateful Dead. I wish I was. I'd probably be a rock star by now. I am a rock star. What am I talking about? I'm what has Ben called me the grandfather of crypto folk music. I love that. I don't know why he didn't call me the father of crypto folk, but it must be the gray beard. Oh, shit. Then we're doing a 9-day cleanse. I don't know where Amy is, but we're doing a 9-day cleanse starting next week. I will get you the exact date we start. It's 3, and 3. 3 days of raw food, 3 days of smoothies, and 3 days of juices. So if you don't want to do the full 21-day cleanse, we're going to do a 9-day cleanse. We're going to figure out a better name for it. But so if anybody's excited about that, wants to do it, I will get Amy to put some information out there about it. And yeah, it's gonna be good right before the event in Vegas, so we can put all the weight back on and toxify our bodies during the Litecoin Summit. Mr. Trigg emailed you for the party. Transaction complete. Can't wait to see you. Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be fun. And it's Vegas. What do you do? All right, what are we looking at here? We got a little time left. I try to keep these to about an hour. I'd sit here all day long. And Amy's out of town, so it's mail bonding. We're going to have big steaks for dinner. And wine, I'm sure. John Dermick, what do you think of Bo Pony? I like Bo. But Bo has gotten nothing right ever. He's the guy who cries wolf every single month. It's a new date. Give it up, dude. Give it up. I've gotten it wrong too. We've all gotten it wrong, but at least I stopped for a long time until I really think something's going to happen. Bo keeps saying, and the worst thing is he keeps saying, oh, it's set in stone. It has to be this way. And come on, Bo. Come on, Bo. I don't dislike him, though. He seems like a nice guy. All right, Laura Mancinelli. Bix, can you really store gold and silver in your own possession? in checkbook IRA LLC. How? In separate safe in your home? Yes. It's a self-directed IRA. Again, will layer perpetual assets. They set you up with everything. You're the manager of that LLC. And yes, it would be in your own possession. If you're not ready or you're not willing to keep all your assets in your own possession, do not do this. Okay? This is for people who want to be out of the system, want to have no risk for their investments because you're the boss. And you can't go to anyone. You can't go to Fidelity. Hey, you lost all my assets. You're the one who would lose your assets. But you can say when Fidelity goes under, oh my God, thank God I got my assets out of Fidelity. How's that? Okay, Isabella, I do not trust Manarino. Gregg's a good guy. It's just, he's kind of basic. He's regurgitating the stuff they teach in business school, not knowing that it's all rigged. But yeah, he's a good guy. I don't have a problem with Manarino. I just don't get anything from him. Let's see. Woke AF Bix, have you already taken all your money out of the banks? As a matter of fact, yes. In the 1990s, I took all my money out of the banks. I just keep a minimum in there that you need to pay bills and things like that. I go to the bank once or twice a week. Yeah, it's kind of hassle, but I would rather be in charge of my assets. And I don't carry much fiat money anyway. So, yeah, I don't know why anybody would trust, especially with all these bailouts, nightly bailouts, $215 billion tonight. Actually, it's more than that. I haven't added back the reverse repos, which is probably another $5. So it's probably up to $220 billion just tonight the banks needed to stay solvent. And tomorrow it'll be $250 and then $280 and then it'll get to $20 trillion by November. So yeah, don't keep your money in the bank. There's no reason. Wendell, Gregg is a trader and he calls it like he sees it. Mostly right. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. He's all right. Like everybody's all right. I'm just all right. Everybody's just all right. And the key is for you guys to, yeah, Gregg says 30% devaluation. He pulled that out of his ass. See, stuff like that I don't like. Manarino says 2 separate 30% currency devaluations coming. How would this be done? It's bullshit. He's pulling that out of his ass. That's how it's done. It sounds like he's getting a little too. If the Federal Reserve doesn't know how it's going to go down, how's Gregory Manarino going to know how it's going to go down? He's full of shit. So, yeah, I didn't know he was saying that. If he's saying that, he's full of crap, and he should apologize to everybody for saying that he knows how this is going to go down, because he doesn't. He's just a guy who went to some rinky-dink business school, probably, had a low-level banking job, and went on YouTube. There you go. And he's not dumb. He sat there and he studied everything they told him to study. So, sorry. I know that Bitcoin Ben went off on Manarino the other day. So, mine was just a little jab, Gregg. Don't get upset. But you don't know what the fuck you're talking about if you think there's going to be 230% devaluations. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. All right. Aaron, Bix, what's your feeling or knowledge on Mana World Holdings Trust? There's a whole lot of those. And a lot of them are absolutely real, but the vast majority of them don't hold any real assets. Some do. Some hold gold. If any of it is not specifically gold and silver related for those type of assets, if they're held in bonds or fiat money and all that, it's complete bullshit. Because it won't work. It might have been set up to work, but it won't work. And there's been so many of them over the years. And so many ways to get around it, but remember, it hasn't helped yet, and it never will help. As long as there's people between you and your money, you're screwed. And no grand plan of 30% devaluation or going to the Golden Eagle Trust or anything like that is going to work, because that takes deciders. Unless it's got hard assets. If it has hard assets, the people who control it are going to be the ones who are going to use it for themselves. There's no grand plan to save the world. They're not going to do that. They'll at best At best, the Chinese will use the Chinese hidden gold to give to their people. At best. Um, but no one's gonna, the Ben Fulfer guys saying, "Oh yeah, they're gonna save the world and we're gonna change the planet." That's complete bullshit, because it takes deciders, and all those deciders that are deciding now will probably be in jail by the time this is over. That's the road to ruin to take, because the road to ruin, the Fed doesn't even know. The good guys behind the Fed don't even know how this is gonna all work out. That's why they asked over 40 questions in the teacher's guide. A teacher's guide shouldn't ask that many questions. A teacher's guide is supposed to teach you, but basically they're saying they don't know how this is all going to work. There are many different ways to do it, but what will be accepted to the people is the question. Bix is Q from Mike. Rito. Bix, is Q a psych op? No, Q was like I said, was a real thing. I think it was General Kelly. Because it started right when he got there as Obama's chief of staff, and it ended pretty much a couple months after he left. So I think Q was General Kelly. I think it was the real deal. I think General Kelly was one of the main guys working for the good guys. Yeah. So yeah, Q was the real deal. There hasn't been many Q posts lately because Kelly's no longer Trump's right-hand guy. So I don't know what's going on with General Kelly right now. Probably behind the scenes working his best to take out the deep state. All right, let's see. Justin Bragg, Trump is my hero. He's my hero too. Don't get me wrong, he's an asshole. He's a complete asshole, and he is a bastard, and he's a good guy too. And he was put there to be a bull in a china shop, not to soothe the country into some beautiful utopia, but to destroy the past, destroy the deep state, destroy everything that needed destroying, and nobody could do the job he's doing. I voted for Ron Paul for three times for president. But looking back, he couldn't withstand the onslaught of the deep state. They make shit up, and real bad shit. And Ron Paul's too nice a guy and too much a patriot. Back in the day, he would have been good. If you look at Ron Paul's early debates back in the 70s, he was a really powerful, strong speaker. But when he ran for president, it was past his prime. And you got to be a real dick to take out the deep state. And that's what Trump's doing. So I agree. Trump is great. Yes, Trump is lying about gold, just like Warren Buffett is lying about gold. That'll all come out in due time. They both love it. They both understand the monetary system. All right. Bix, how will bank failures affect local power and utilities? I am hoping, because they've had over 100 years to plan for this, I'm hoping there's a lot of infrastructure emergency plans in place. So that, they know it's going to happen. Everybody knows it's going to happen. They just don't know when. D. Gross, we need a reset. No, we don't need a reset. A reset's the worst thing. That means the same people stay in place. It's just jiggered a little. We need a destruction and a replacement of the old system. So it might sound like a subtle difference. It's not. A reset would keep everything the status quo. The rich will be rich, the poor will be poor. It'll just jigger it a little bit, and there'll be deciders, and no one will trust the deciders, and on and on. So, yeah. All right. Daniel Forrest, take everything out of all your investment, hold it all in your own possession. Yes, if you want to keep it. Otherwise, you have third-party risk. If you trust the third party when the banks go down, I don't trust any third party. People who hold their gold in Switzerland in a real safe vault. I'm like, are you kidding me? Where's the first place that the guards of that vault are going to go to feed their family? They're going to go in the vault. They're going to take all your gold and say, what a sucker. What is an RV? Well, the RV it's a generic term for a revaluation. There's been about 50 to 100 different plans over the years to how to revalue the current monetary system, where there's deciders of who gets what and why they get it and things like that. Somebody's talking about Lynette Zhang. I don't trust Zhang. She says a lot of things that are incorrect. Lynette Zhang she talked this big story when she came. No, I'm not a fan of Lynette Zeng. I'm not going to talk bad about her because I know a lot of people love her. She's got that grandmotherly position. She says a couple decent things. I don't watch her anymore. I talk crap about her in the beginning. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. When she talked about crap about crypto, she had no idea what was going on. She's all right for like a lower level type of understanding of the monetary system. That's my take. She's got a lot of viewers though. And she doesn't. She talk. See, the thing I don't like is that people who talk like, "Oh yes, this is what's going to happen." Yes, they're going to be going back to a gold standard because of this, this, and this, and they really have no idea, which is a problem. It's like Gregory Manarino saying there's 230% devaluations coming. He's pulling that out of his ass, and why say something like that unless you can give the evidence of why. Tell people how you came to this knowledge. Either you have a whistleblower internally, or you deduced it because you found X, Y, and Z documents that say that. Where are they? Where are they? Because the Fed surely doesn't know how they're going to do it. And I found the documents that said the Fed doesn't know how to do it. They're in the Road to Rue documents. How do you do this? What if the people don't accept it? So, all right. Bandit 171. Do you think Litecoin will go 1 to 4 when Bitcoin hits 100,000? No. I think Litecoin will go 1 to 4 when the banks crash. And we need a means of exchange. Then it will go 1 to 4 really fast. Bitcoin and Litecoin won't be used as the same things. Bitcoin, they're trying to lock it up as a store of value. Litecoin is specifically designed to be a means of exchange. The only way, and I think it will, that Litecoin gets to 1 to 4 with Bitcoin is if the banks crash and we need something to be used as a means of exchange. That's my take. All right. Aaron says, Bix, are you fearful of the CCP holding mining pools at gunpoint to institute 51% attack if global depression? No, I don't think, well, especially for Bitcoin, the whole 51% attack from the Chinese miners. Right now, there's a concentration of miners in China. There's no block for example, the U.S. government to start mining farms. There's no barrier to entry in mining farms. Yes, they can make faster miners, but we have technology too. We can do that. There's no stopping us from doing that. When Bitcoin mining takes off and Bitcoin is accepted around the world, every country in the world will have mining farms. So it won't all be concentrated in China. I'm not worried at all. And I don't think the Chinese government has plans to stop cryptocurrencies either. I think they know exactly what's going on, and they like that the world is going there. But they're going to do it according to their rules and regulations, and China is working behind the scenes to make sure that happens. They put out a lot of FUD to scare you into thinking that, but I don't think it will ever happen. And if it did happen, that they institute a 50, it would have to, I heard Andreas was talking about it, it's going to have to be more like a 60 to 65% attack because of the timing, the amount of money you have to throw at it just to get 51%. It will, by the time the blocks are mined, it'll already be too late. So you got to have 60, something like that. But no, I don't think that'll happen at all. And I think it'll be shown as if it was happening, and they'll just split a fork, and all the people will go in a different direction. There's a lot of ways around it. And there's a lot of monitoring of the blockchain for that type of activity. So I don't think it's going to happen, no. But I'm no expert. All right. We're going to go for one more. Candy says, how do the poor prepare for what's to come? I think the poor will be a hell of a lot better off than the rich. The rich are the ones who don't have the tools to fend for themselves. I'll guarantee you that. The rich aren't going to have their stuff anymore. They're not going to have their protections. They're not going to have their retirement funds. They're not going to have their mansions. The rich are the ones who are going to be the targets. with their stuff. So the poor, I mean, probably they'll say, "Damn, I've been fending my whole life for myself." They're much more equipped to fend for themselves than the rich will be equipped to fend for themselves. So yeah, I think the poor will be much better off. And then especially with the reallocation of money after the old money is gone, old system is gone, whatever we decide to reallocate as money, which we have to do, which is the Fed is Fed, we will be reallocating money. Poor will be much better off than they've ever been in their lives. So I think the poor will probably do the best out of everybody, because they have the skills to take care of themselves. And a lot of these rich people, especially in these big cities like New York, they won't know what the hell to do. They'll be in the garbage cans searching for food, just like just like the poor. So yeah, I think the poor will fare much better. It's still gonna be hard, but yeah, if you're poor, you're not gonna notice all that much difference, other than you'll be laughing at the people who are in your own circumstance that used to be rich and walk by you on the street. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. I want to thank you guys very much for being on the road to Ruta and for supporting my work and my music. We will be doing a concert. I'm thinking Friday, although I think she gets back on Friday. I'll have to check and see when she gets back. But we're gonna do a happy hour concert. I got a new song that I wrote for some friends' wedding that I want to play to the world. It's fun. It's a good one. And I've been working. I got a new guitar, and I'm working. I think you guys have seen my new guitar. I'm working on some of the crypto songs, getting ready for the big show on the 27th in Vegas. And I can't wait. Dick Allgaier keeps sending me songs. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. And him and the crypto viewing guys are coming, and it's going to be a blast. So if you want to go to Vegas, send me an email. bix@roadtoruta.com. It costs 1 Litecoin. I will send you the information on where to send the Litecoin and more about the whole event. Also, for the event, for all you who have already signed up, I will be sending out this week, I guarantee you this week, more information on the event, kind of the hours, the tentative schedule, and how it's going to go down. All right. You guys take care. Take care of yourselves. Keep an eye on the banksters, and make sure you have your friends and family close, because they're going to need you in this transition. I'll talk to you guys later.